Welcome to the 707, a weekly half-hour program produced by KRCB, a service of NorCal Public Media. The 707 features voices and stories from your community, stories that explore iconic parts of Sonoma County, and stories that show how we are connected to each other. I'm your host, Michelle Marques. Today's episode is going to get hot.
The burner's going to be loud and hot. They're going to scare you. It's not going to burn you or anything, but it'll definitely wake you up. So what will happen is I'll start adding some heat to the balloon, keep hold of the ropes and kind of come up with the balloon, and eventually I'll tell you to let the ropes go, or if the ropes get above your head, let them go. And then once you let the ropes go, come up and lean on the edge of the basket, just kind of help it stand the rest of the way up and hold things down so I don't fly away.
That's David Dunrud, Balloon Meister and VP of Operations for the Sonoma County Hot Air Balloon Classic during a training session for volunteer crew members on an early Saturday morning at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. The balloon basket is laying on its side and he's about to start a fan, which adds cold air into the envelope or the balloon, and then when there's enough air inside, he'll hit the propane burners at the top of the basket to heat up the air inside the envelope, which will make the air inside the balloon hotter than the air outside the balloon, thus allowing it to float, and within a few minutes...
There you have it, guys. You just set up a balloon. That's not too bad, huh?
The Sonoma County Hot Air Balloon Classic is happening July 19th and 20th in Santa Rosa, and it takes a lot of work to set up a hot air balloon festival like this one. I've actually been a part of the event as an announcer since about 2008, and at one point I was a member of the all-volunteer board. My role was to secure the various balloons that come from all over the country and some outside of the U.S. for the event. Balloon pilots have generously taken me on many flights over the years, and this event holds a special place in my heart. I called up a few of the people who make the classic possible to get the background on one of the signature events in Sonoma wine country.
It was just a gathering of hot air balloon pilots that would get together, kind of known as a fun fly. They get together in West Santa Rosa, out when there was open space out there. They get together for the weekend, camp out, and fly during the days. And then people in the area saw them flying, obviously, and they would come out and watch them launch.
That's Ted Ritchie, president of the Classic. He says eventually the pilots decided to make the event more official, incorporating in 1989 as a nonprofit event, staging it at Kaiser Park in Windsor for many years until it moved back to Santa Rosa, where it now happens at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds.
This year we're going to have a couple dozen hot air balloons, and we will have a glow show at 5 a.m. in the morning, so that's before the sun gets up. The hot air balloons will stand up, fully inflate, and there'll be like massive lanterns, and it's a beautiful show that will be put on. They'll have a little bit of music. I think you'll be there controlling that music, Michelle.
Yes, I will.
And they'll set their burners off to different things, so it'll be great photo opportunity, amazing video, things like that. For all those Instagram fans out there, it's something to go watch and be a part of.
The glow show is a sight to behold. These massive balloons, each roughly the size of a 7-story building, fill up the field and light up before dawn, with the pilots synchronizing their burners to glow all at once, or with short blasts on the burners to create little twinkles of light, as if fairies were dancing from one balloon to the next. It's breathtaking and worth the early morning wake-up call. Sleepyheads who can't manage that can arrive for the main launch with about 24 balloons on the field at about 6:30. As long as weather conditions are favorable, some of them will take off.
We will also have tethered rides. Those are hot air balloons that are attached to some of the vehicles with some lines, and they'll be going up like 50 feet, something like that, depending on how high the lines are and how big the hot air balloon is. Get a little sampler of what a real hot air balloon ride is, especially those people. I talk to some people like, oh, I'm scared of heights. And I tell them, in a hot air balloon, it's hard to be scared of heights. You feel very safe with the basket around you, but it's a commitment to take a full hot air balloon ride. But if you want to come out and do the tethered ride, it's a very affordable way to get like a little taste of what that's like.
There are jump houses for the kids and food vendors on site. Ritchie says there's also a retired envelope, which is the fabric of an old balloon that's no longer used to fly, and you can explore inside it.
And we will have air being blown into it, and so you can actually take off your shoes and walk in and take some photos and see what it's like inside, like a partially inflated hot air balloon envelope as well.
One of the most interesting parts of the Sonoma County Hot Air Balloon Classic is the way that volunteers become part of the crew, like those who came out to the training with Balloon Meister David Dunrud.
So yeah, I think we're ready to fire things up. And then I'll put a couple people on the throat. We'll get some air in the balloon, and then I'll shut it down for a sec. And we'll go up to the top, and I'll give you guys some instruction at the top of the balloon, what's going on.
Justin Kinsinger is the treasurer for the Classic and also a pilot.
Crewing a hot air balloon is a lot of fun and quite an experience, I would say. We certainly, and we being pilots, certainly couldn't do it alone. It's very much a team sport, and that's highly dependent on our crew. So I like to say that basically the crew is out there to wrestle a balloon. Everything from offloading it from the chase vehicle or the truck or the trailer, helping the pilots get the balloon assembled and the basket and burner stood up on top of the basket frame. We then need to stretch out the envelope, which is the actual fabric of the balloon. We use powered fans to actually blow cold air in while it's kind of sleeping on its side. Crew helps to spread the fabric out. The crew chief, who's kind of the lead of the crew team, we have what we call a crown line on the top, and basically pressures applied to ensure that when you do add the heat from the resting position to make it go upright, that it doesn't go up too fast. And then from there, a chase ensues, right? And so balloons are weather dependent, but we travel with the wind. As we launch, the wind blows us out. We then need our crew to follow us in our chase car. And so that's a lot of fun. It's nice to be in the balloon, but it's also a lot of fun to participate as a chaser on the ground. And so we have two-way walkie-talkies. Yeah, we communicate with our crew, and they generally will follow us out and meet us upon landing. And then all of what it takes to set up a balloon happens in reverse, to where you have to disassemble the basket, put the envelope back into its sack, and load it back onto the chase truck. After that is celebratory champagne or sparkling beverages and a little picnic and a toast celebrating a successful flight.
Most hot air balloons need 3 to 4 crew members, but Kinsinger says special shapes can require much more.
This year, we're going to have a couple special shapes. Those are generally more complicated. They're bigger, they're heavier. One that we have this year in specific is the Darth Vader balloon. It is a special shaped envelope that looks and is a replica of Darth Vader's helmet. That balloon itself weighs over 800 pounds, and so we need a big crew to get that set up and packed away. And so we are actively recruiting for crew members for not only Darth Vader, but also our Yoda special shape that'll accompany him, as well as what we call round balloons out there as well. So it takes a village, and we'd love to get more people involved in crew. And often it's a way in which you see a lot of volunteers actually get into ballooning, right? They had the close interaction and that firsthand experience crewing on a balloon, and that experience propelled them to actually become pilots themselves.
So, David, is that part of your story? Did you crew before you became a pilot?
Yeah, I guess I was born around ballooning, but yeah, I chased balloons since I could walk. See, I started doing it as a job when I was 11. Right away, I wanted to. Crewing's fun, but I wanted to fly as well. To build on what Justin was saying about the crew, everybody enjoys the chase. From what I hear from all the crew folks, it's a cool way if you want to get more involved, get up close and personal with the balloons. A lot of these folks, you develop these close family friends and relationships from this. So a lot of the crew people that come to the events over the years, they've became great friends with these pilots who come to our event, and every year they're out there crewing for them. So that's another thing that happens with the crewing.
The Darth Vader and Meister Yoda balloons are big draws. Literally, the Vader balloon is massive, and they actually come from Belgium. Their owner, Benoit Lambert, is the only pilot licensed to create Star Wars hot air balloons. Kinsinger explains how they travel to Sonoma County.
Balloons, when they travel into other countries, they don't get flown there. They get shipped, generally from either air cargo or on a slow boat. And so they are currently en route from Belgium to Santa Rosa. And based on some scheduling conflicts and some other events later in the summer, we actually are going to have 2 local pilots that will be the pilots in command of these balloons this year. So the Darth Vader balloon will be piloted by myself, and the Yoda balloon will be piloted by Jason Kimball, who's the owner and operator of Napa Valley Aloft over in Yountville, California.
So fun. I got a chance to fly with Benoit, who's the pilot who owns these balloons, in the Darth Vader balloon. And when we were like hovering over neighborhoods in Windsor in the balloon, like little kids would come out and I'd start singing the Imperial March. So fun. And telling people join the dark side and shouting down to them. So fun. So fun.
That's awesome.
Along with these Lucasfilm authorized balloons, another Star Wars aspect has been added to the classic, according to Kinsinger and Ritchie.
We'll also have the contingent of the Star Wars cosplay 501st Infantry guys out there marching around supporting the Star Wars balloons.
We've also added the Mandalorians as well as the Rebel costumers too. So we're actually going to have 3 different costume groups for all the Star Wars fans out there.
Chi-Hei Chung is the volunteer coordinator, and we catch up at the fairgrounds.
Typically, we show up at 3:30 to get everything set up for the event. If you get to just be here with us and watch everything happen, it's awesome.
You get to be right up close and help fly balloons.
You get to feel the heat of the fire right next to you, yes.
Are you excited about any particular shape coming this year?
Well, of course. We were able to get Darth Vader to come back, and we have Yoda coming here, so we're very excited about that. Oh, the inner nerd in us is just very excited to see that, so it'll be fun.
Yeah. Outer nerds, too. Any nerds will be so excited.
Exactly. Just especially being, Star Wars from right here in Marin County. Local culture of ours.
Exactly. It is our culture. I love that.
Indeed.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
You're listening to the 707 on KRCB. We'll be right back with more stories from balloon pilots at the Sonoma County Hot Air Balloon Classic.
KRCB is Sonoma County's NPR station, featuring the voices, sounds, and culture that make our home unique. From the heartwarming tales of postcards,
our grandmother was the founder of Juneteenth in Sonoma County,
to the Arts Briefs series shining a spotlight on the incredible youth in the arts scene.
Mariachi can express everything that you feel.
And farm tales.
We live in this beautiful area that allows all forms of success in agriculture.
Your stories, your station. KRCB 104.9, Sonoma County's NPR station.
Welcome back to the 707 on KRCB. I'm your host, Michelle Marques, and we're flying high over wine country for the Sonoma County Hot Air Balloon Classic, which is happening on Saturday and Sunday, July 19th and 20th. From the years I've been announcing this event, I've always been fascinated by how each pilot makes their way to ballooning. In this segment, we'll hear stories from pilots David Dunrud, Mike Kijak, and Justin Kinsinger. David, you said you were born into ballooning. Tell me about that.
Funny story, but my aunt's been flying for almost 40 years now, and she didn't have any kids. She flew balloons commercially in Napa over the wine country, so when I was 11, during the summertime, I'd get a ride to work with her and go chase balloons. When I was 20, I got my private certificate, and I got my commercial license at 21, and at that time, I was flying with Up and Away Ballooning, local company here. Kind of the rest is history, flown in several states. I think I'm closing in on 1,200 hours right now. I have a real job during the week, so ballooning's kind of been my weekend hobby at the moment.
What do you do outside of flying hot air balloons and being the balloon Meister at the Sonoma County Hot Air Balloon Classic?
So I actually work for airport operations here at our local airport. So we do some FAA compliance stuff, and I also do the fire and medical response there at the airport.
And does that experience at the airport, does that help in your role as balloon Meister?
It does. I work very closely with the control tower and with the FAA. I also make some notifications to the local FAA office. So if other planes are coming in that morning, they're going to know that event's going on and to kind of stay clear and wave at us as they go by.
And the place that this is happening at in Santa Rosa at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds there, it's not anywhere near actual flight paths, is it?
It's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from when they're flying into the airport from the south.
So they don't have to make any alterations to their flights that day?
No, not that I know of. They just are aware.
Yeah, and in years past, we were right next to, in Windsor, we were right next to the airport. In fact, one year I landed in between the two runways with the pilot. That was not great.
It's okay. It happens. And the airport said before, that it's not a problem. You just got to make adjustments. Thankfully, ballooning happens early, so before the afternoon rush happens, all the balloons are down and out of the way.
I run into pilot Mike Kijak at the Saturday morning training session. Kijak has been part of the Sonoma County Hot Air Balloon Classic since the early 90s.
Years ago, when I first got into it, I got to do the Burger King Whopper.
Serious?
Serious. So 1994, I believe. The guy was traveling the country with the Burger King Whopper. He picks up crew all around the country, and I had an hour and a half in my logbook, and I'll volunteer for you. He goes, okay, great, you're going to come flying with me tomorrow. I'm like, what? And so here we are flying in the Burger King Whopper. And I was like, man, I could do this. This is pretty cool, And that was 32 years ago.
So how do you steer it? Because there's no steering wheel out there.
No, the winds travel at different directions at different altitudes, and that's how we steer the balloons around. All we can control is up and down.
So is this Sonoma Star that you're flying today?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Sonoma Star so much.
I actually got it from a friend of mine whose house burned down in the 17 fires.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Long.
Yeah.
So we're still flying them.
Sonoma Star is one of the first ones that I flew in.
You've been it? Okay.
Yeah, my first balloon was Panda with Stan.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Yeah,
and his dog Bear.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I flew in a balloon with the Labrador.
Yeah. Oh, he was on board. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was on with us.
Yeah, Stan's still, we'll see him up in Reno.
Nice.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry for interrupting here, but yeah.
That's what the whole thing about ballooning is. That's the nice thing about ballooning. It's not like stand behind the line, stay back. Yeah, come on over, touch it, come on. People come up, I've never seen one. Yeah, come on. You want to hop in? Okay. So, yeah.
What's the most interesting thing in your career that has happened either in a balloon or
Well, we used to, when I had the business, we did weddings. We did about 5 weddings a year. Those were a lot of fun. I went online 10 years ago, got my minister's license with my $15 donation. I was ordained in 5 minutes on the Universal Life Church of Modesto. But we did a lot of weddings, those were fun. Marriage proposals are always fun.
In the air?
Yeah. Usually it's in the 2-person, but when we had the business, we had a balloon that could carry 16, and I did this big wedding in the sky.
Do you toss the bouquet over the side?
No, but my wife used to get a bunch of roses, and she'd take the petals off, and then they would bring up a box, and we'd throw the petals over the side, so kinda. So
that's adorable.
Yeah, one couple came in, then they were getting in the basket, and they had these white boxes, and I go, oh, what's in the boxes? Oh, we'll show you. Okay, they took them out of a cooler. So we're flying along, and we do the ceremony, and it's all fine. So they open up the boxes, and in the boxes was these satin fabric, and they opened up the fabric, and within each fold was a butterfly. So the butterflies were in the cooler, still sleeping, if you will. So as they pulled this satin out, all the butterflies started flying around in the basket. And they were landing on us, and so I'd have to look up and make sure there were no butterflies before I hit the burner, so I didn't want to smoke the poor butterflies, But it was the coolest darn thing. I'll never forget that. And they'd land on you and then fly. And then they all eventually just flew away.
That's really
beautiful.
beautiful.
Probably 1,000 feet up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
That was pretty fun.
Pilot Justin Kinsinger also has a family history of ballooning.
I'm a second-generation balloon pilot, so actually all started with my grandfather. And it skipped a generation and it's continued on with me. But as my grandfather was aging, it was clear that he wasn't going to be able to enjoy this passion and this hobby of his for much longer. And so nobody else in the family had taken to ballooning. That was the real motivation for me to get my license, was to enable my grandfather to continue doing what he loved and being around the community. It's a very close, tight-knit community, almost a family. And so that was my initial motivation. But, it was pretty quick within that first flight that as soon as I had my hands on the burner and I was in control of the aircraft, this was something that I wanted to do for myself as well. My grandfather had started his ballooning career in Battle Creek, Michigan. And he helped to organize some of the initial balloon championships and events and became pretty involved in the balloon community. And as he retired from his profession, which was with the W.K. Kellogg Foundation as a philanthropist and giving away grant money, he used ballooning as kind of his ticket to the world. And he would write different festival organizers and get to balloon in sometimes exotic remote locations, some that required the use of helicopters, or when he decided to join a Stanford research expedition to the North Pole, he put his balloon on a Russian icebreaker, helicoptered it off onto an iceberg, and was the first person to fly a balloon over the magnetic North Pole. He proceeded to fly his balloon in about 33 countries, I think was his final count, across coast to coast, from the West Coast to the East Coast in Australia over the course of a 2-week Australian Open Challenge. He flew over the Great Wall of China, the Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines, all across Europe, in Chile, South America. He flew as well as in Africa. So I think he had, 4 or 5 continents and 33 countries. And so, that was obviously an inspiration for me. And I have since been fortunate enough to take my balloon to 4 countries now. So I've been to the north of Thailand, north of Chiang Mai. I flew in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. I flew in multiple cities in Chile, and I've also flown in Leon, Mexico, as well as many states in the US. So it is a very unique sport that comes with very interesting invitations at times.
Yeah. When you're flying in these different countries, Justin, are you seeing some of the same pilots that you see at US festivals?
Yeah, sure. I think it's a mix of US pilots and then generally European as well as local. Some are ones that, my grandfather used to fly with, and some you see kind of hop and frequent various countries and festivals. But yeah, you'll see familiar faces for sure.
Details about the nonprofit event are online at schabc.org. I'm your host and producer of this program, Michelle Marques. Thanks for listening. This show is a service of NorCal Public Media. Our president and CEO is Darren Lachelle.